what I've always been interested in, the suppression of language and thought, the closing down, the rationalist idea that seems beguiling, that if you limit people's language, it may somehow teach them a different way of thinking, something that would have delighted the inventors of George Orwell's Newspeak, for example. And it seems to me it's just implausible. It doesn't work. And that's what I mean by empirical. It doesn't stand an empirical test. It isn't experientially validated, as we see from the political landscape now, and I worry that we may in the future. So I'm sort of disappointed that the subject has just revolved around academia, which was predictable, because that's the sort of crucible in which these elements are mixed. But even more disappointed that really I haven't heard from Michel or from Professor Dyson as to what they think political correctness is, because what they've talked about is basically saying progress, in our view, is progress. Well, I agree. That's, yeah. So it is too. And good on progress. But how is it that you're saying that what we call political correctness, you call progress? That's what you're supposed to be arguing. I want to know what you mean by political correctness.
Well, okay. So like I said, the reason a few months ago, right, you contacted me, asked if I wanted to do a debate about identity politics, and then you presented me with this resolution, and I said, well, there's a lot of things that people call political correctness that I'm not going to defend. But then I realized who I was debating and saw that there was a lot of things that you, Jordan Peterson, call political correctness that I call progress. And to some extent, you too, Stephen Fry, when you talk about it being outrageous to tear down, or not outrageous, I won't put words in your mouth, but that we shouldn't be tearing down statues of kind of notorious racists, that we should just instead be throwing eggs at them. So those sorts of things, if you call them political correctness, I call them progress. Now, this feeling of being silenced, which I understand, although it seems very vague, right? You kind of are not quite putting your finger on who is silencing you, except for a vague fear that if you say something untoward, you're going to be the subject of, I'm not
shaming,
sure.
Yes.
Shaming, but by who?
Yeah.
But by what? By the internet?
I'm not saying their names.
No, but I mean...
Point. I'm scared.
If
I listed...
But
that's
again,
the point.
You're scared.
It is a culture of
right.
fear.
I understand there's that element of fear. What I'm saying is that it's a feeling. It's a feeling that is this sort of intangible result of, primarily...
We've all seen the sort of show trial thing where the person then apologizes. I have so much to learn about sexual politics. I am really sorry. Signed a lawyer, crossed out the name of the person. You think the real mistake of our left is that we underestimate the right. The right isn't as stupid as we'd like them to be. If only they were. If only they weren't so cunning, so sly, so smart, so aware of our shortcomings. And I just fear that political correctness is a weapon that they value, that the more we tell the world how people should be treated, how language should be treated, what words are acceptable, what attitudes are acceptable, what HR meeting is going to tell you in a long bullet-pointed list about how you look at people. All of this is meat and drink to bad people, to malefactors, to bad actors. I'm not counting myself as one of those bad actors in that sense. I mean bad actors in the other sense.
Right, So there are, like I said, there are a lot of ways in which I agree with you, although I would like to hear, to turn it back on you, I would like to hear you say, what are the words that have fallen into disrepute that you think we should be resurrecting, right? To me, this is this area of hotly contested social change right now, where a lot of people feel...
It's about words that have gone into disuse. It's very often phrases, jargonistic slogans, heteronormative, cisgendered, those kind of things. They're just an insult. Imagine you're a young student arriving at university and someone's bombarding you with this preposterous hermeneutical nonsense from misread textbooks, misread Foucault, if I may say, and misread Derrida, and so on. Because I was at Cambridge, England, doing English literature. We had our French phase, and there's value in that. it's an interesting game, and it is. It's a place to... I think I'd just really say that the ghost hovering over me is... It's a letter Oscar Wilde wrote, and he said to Bosie, his love, he said, the fact that you didn't get a degree is nothing, but you never acquired what is sometimes called the Oxford manner, and I'll say for that, the university manner. He said, Oscar said, I take that to mean the ability to play gracefully with ideas. I think that's disappearing from our culture, and I think it's a terrible thing.